When I became CEO, that all changed. I suddenly became a parent of 300 people, responsible for so many people and extensions. So it's that gravity of responsibility for so many people. And I said, shit, I cannot screw this up. You know, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Continuously put myself in environments or in groups or organizations where I'm the dumbest person in the room. One day, I'm gonna be either the average of this room, or one day I'll be as smart as the smartest person in the room. If you frame it that way, then it's something that you actually become excited about. It's like, wow, okay, this is a challenge, and I've seen it happen. But that recklessness also cannot die, right? Because that's part of an entrepreneur. You have to take risks. You have to try new things. You have to innovate or die. It's, I guess, that balance of how do you balance responsibility, the lives of people, really. You now look down and you see that there are other people who are small, and now it's your turn to bring them up to where you are. And it's a good feeling to see how far you've gone. I think that's the key formula in growing, in growth, right? Is to have this Shoshin mindset, which is the mindset of having a beginner's mindset. You're dumb, right? You don't know anything, and be comfortable with that. Because if you're scared of that, then you'll never start anything. You'll never try anything. Everything will be daunting to you. Everything will be scary. You'll never try. Be comfortable feeling stupid. Be comfortable feeling small, right? That's I think the key ingredient to.
Si Jacob told me,
Yeah.
he shared na parang, the way he was describing the conversation, parang, wow, parang ibang level na CEO yun si Carlo.
Really?
Yeah.
It's over the
Why
phone.
do you think? Yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know, actually. Ask him.
I was like,
Maybe it's just being, polite or.
no, I mean, somehow, I think in your conversation, he really made an impression on him that he really, I think he is starting to see a vision of what he is as a CEO. Diba? Maybe. Parang now he's saying, hey, napaka-important talaga. And this is something you've said before, di ba? Yung parang you are the average of the 5 people around you. What is that? How do you look at that now, that statement? You are the average of the 5 people around you.
Yeah, or, that used to be, what I believe, which is still true,
Yeah.
right? But then it's shifted to, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room, right? So I continuously put myself in environments or in groups or organizations where I'm the dumbest person in the room,
And how
right?
do you feel when you are that?
And it used to be, I used to feel insecure, right, and small, right? But then if you change your framing of the situation, right, that one day I'm gonna be either the average of this room, or one day I'll be as smart as the smartest person in the room. If you frame it that way, then it's something that you actually become excited about. It's like, wow, okay, this is a challenge, and I've seen it happen, right? So when I joined EO 13 years ago, my golly, I was surrounded by these big figures, these big entrepreneurs, right? Massive businesses, some conglomerates, second generation, third generation, first generation entrepreneurs, right? I just had lunch with Steve Benitez right now. Bose Coffee, right? He's a founder, and he started the business. So you've got this variety of entrepreneurs in different life stages. And I really never thought I'd be, I'd approximate, where they are in life, right? But then 13 years later, I look back and I go, wow, I've come a long way. And it's because I've put myself in very uncomfortable positions where I'm forced to grow, right? I'm forced to step up. I'm forced to push myself, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while. And I think patience is a key ingredient here, right? And humility, right? There are people who are uncomfortable being small, right? And then before you know it, you look back. You're now you now look down and you see that there are other people who are smaller, where you were, right? And now it's your turn to bring them up to where you are, right? And it's a good feeling to see how far you've gone, and you realize you knew nothing, right? How little you knew, right? And you still know relatively little, right? Nothing, not much. But then that's when you realize, wow, there's still so much more out there to life, right? And it's not just business. That's what I found out. It's not just work, right? There's so much more to life.
Talk about Shoshin, having the Shoshin mindset.
I think that's a formula. I think that's the key formula in growth, right? Is to have this Shoshin mindset, which is the mindset of having a beginner's mindset, right? You approach everything as if you have that you're dumb, right? You don't know anything, and be comfortable with that. Okay, and because if you're scared of that, then you'll never start anything. You'll never try anything. Everything will be daunting to you. Everything will be scary, and you'll never try. So be comfortable feeling stupid. Be comfortable feeling small, right? That's I think the key ingredient to growth.
Why did you even put yourself in that situation? Where did that come from? That I don't know. I don't know the statistics. I know, pero maybe 90% of human beings want to stay comfortable. But what made you want to go where it's uncomfortable? Even that.
Wow, that's a good question. Maybe you're my brother, so you're familiar with my past, right? I've always been the failure, right? Growing up, right? Having failed, several times in school. So I suppose that was fuel for me, right? And I wanted to show the world, right, that I'm not a failure, right? So that pushed me, that drove me, it gave me that rocket fuel to grow. And since I was there already, I've been in that situation where I was like again the smallest person in the room, and I see the benefits of that, right? When you're surrounded by big people, and you try to live up to those other big people, and I guess it becomes addictive, right? It becomes addictive. Seeing yourself grow, seeing yourself grow. You set a target in many aspects of in life, right? Like in sports, let's say, like me in what I do. I'm a obstacle course race enthusiast, right? And from how I started, where I started, and to where I finished last year, having finished podium, right? But I saw the process, right? Having started from nothing and then finishing up in the podium, that's an exhilarating and almost addicting process. I want to do that again. So I'm looking for the next thing to do, where I'm like the smallest person in the room, and I go, I want to be like that person up there. And then you endeavor you work hard to get up there, and then you look back, and it's such a fulfilling moment or experience, right? It's like maybe climbing a mountain, right? You look up at the mountain, and it's imposing, and it's scared, and you're scared, and it's something that you feel is impossible, right? But once you're up there and you look down, you go, wow, that's addicting. That experience or that feeling is addicting.
Is there anything that you're doing now that you feel like, hey, you know what, I want to achieve this?
Okay,
Around that line.
correct. So as you know, as my brother, we're making this really big move abroad. I'm uprooting my family from Manila and moving them to Spain, right? And it's not just moving them to another country. Normally for Filipinos, it's normal to move to the U.S.
Sure.
But there's still some level of comfort that U.S. provides us because of the language, right? The familiarity with the culture. But in Spain, it's a different language, a familiar culture, but the language barrier is very daunting. It's scary. So being and trying to have a successful life there is an aspiration, right? It's a target.
it's amazing that as you're saying that, I reflect on my thoughts on you guys moving, right? And in my mind, it's like, oh, they're gonna be okay because I know you. I know you, your family, Rita. You guys are just exactly going through challenging, uncomfortable things, enjoying that process.
Yeah,
Di ba? Tama ba?
yeah.
Is it making sense? Now,
So,
I know they're gonna
yeah,
be fine.
yeah. So I have a cold plunge at home,
Go.
right? And it can go down to 3 degrees. And if you've ever put your hand in a cold in a tub,
So it's a tub
it's
that's
a tub,
really
right?
cold.
I mean, even at home, you have a ice bucket where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
put
yeah.
wine or whatever,
Sure,
and you
go.
put your hand in there,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it can become very uncomfortable
Sure,
quickly,
sure, sure,
right? Try putting your whole body in there,
sure,
right, for at least 3 minutes.
sure.
It's the most uncomfortable thing. It's painful. It's actually very painful. The first 1 minute and a half is very painful. And after that, your body acclimates, right? And then you can feel that you can go longer. You can go longer. And you go up to 3 minutes. And when you get out of it, you have this rush of adrenaline and dopamine in your body, right? And you feel so good, right? So I'm addicted to that. So I know that if I put myself in really hard situation, I mean, if you've done a Spartan race, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, right? But then when you finish it, and you finish up in the podium,
Mhm.
right? The feeling is incomparable, right? So that's
So
what
that's what you're
drives
looking for
us
the drive. You're driving, again, putting
hard.
yourself
So
in the
put yourself
situation.
put yourself in hard shit. Sorry, I
No.
don't know if you have to filter that out.
We
Yeah.
talk real shit here.
So that's you got a real shit. So our motto in the family, actually, if you ask my kids right now, without me telling them, you ask them, "Hey guys, what's the one of the mottos of the family?" It's do hard shit.
There you go.
It's do hard shit.
You're the right conversation.
Yeah.
The right program
Yeah.
here.
And the cold plunge exemplifies that, right? That's an example. It's like you hate to go into it. It's the most uncomfortable situation, but every morning we go in and we stay for 3 minutes. It's painful, but then because we do hard shit, and you come out better and stronger, right? You have this dopamine rush and you feel so good.
You're gonna do great. It's a version of something like taking cold showers, diba?
Yeah.
But this one, it's really an extreme version of taking cold showers.
Freezing.
The point is really
Freezing.
put yourself in situations where
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, if we could, again, you are the CEO of Biggs, right? And when you first became CEO of Biggs, what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make? And this is like,
I'm second generation,
Mhm.
right? So it's hard to start a business. That I'll tell you now, I can't do, right? I've tried it and it's really hard. So I'm fortunate that my mom before me, our mother, started the business. And what she did and where she brought the business to when I came in, I think is amazing. The story is truly remarkable. And I always thought she'd be there,
Mhm.
right? So, I was not very scared or I was not very worried, right? Because I know that I'll always have a mother or a parent or somebody above me. If I screw up, then there's always someone to bail me out or to fix the situation, right? When I became CEO, that all changed, right? I suddenly became a parent of 300 people, responsible for so many people and the extensions. I mean, the families, right? As they say here in the Philippines, a salaried person, you know, uh, feeds so many more mouths. Right? I mean, there's more to that person, right? There's probably 3 or 4 dependents,
Yeah.
right? So it's really always that person times 4 times 5 that you're responsible for, right? So it's that gravity of responsibility for so many people. And I said, shit, I cannot screw this up. Or I cannot be a reckless entrepreneur anymore, trying new stuff, trying new stuff, trying new stuff. So I have to be more responsible, right? But that recklessness also cannot die, right? Because that's part of an entrepreneur, right? You have to take risks, right? You have to try new things. You have to innovate or die, right? So I guess a balance of how do you balance responsibility, right, over the lives of people. Really, I felt scared. This was more scared, and I knew that I had to uh, to to skill up. I had to skill up, right? That's why I took my master's in entrepreneurship. I joined EO.
So EO is a
Entre-
international organization of entrepreneurs.
it's an international organization of entrepreneurs.
Sure.
These are business owners
Mhm.
or shareholders that run their own businesses that grows a minimum of $1 million.
Sure.
And right now, I think we're about 15,000 strong around the world. We have two chapters in the Philippines, one in Manila and one in Cebu or in the south. And you're surrounded by peers, and you learn from each other, right? So I had to put myself in this environment, right? School, organization, to learn from these bigger entrepreneurs.
So you knew you needed to learn. You needed to again put yourself.
Yeah,
into
from people who have been there, done that, right?
That
So
was
I'm learning from them, and that's how I think I became more mature as a CEO.
What does a typical day for a CEO look like? What does it demand of you?
I'm not a typical CEO, Jay, as you know, because I've I've set up the business. I've been doing this in the past 3 years, or started 3 to 4 years ago, to make it less dependent on me, right? I think there are better people to run the business. I have my role.
What is that? What is that role? What is it that you still see yourself?
As a CEO, there's only one person that reports to you, right? That's the COO. Okay, as a CEO, you're the visionary, right? And the COO takes you there, right? So I'm lucky to have a very capable COO, more than capable, very bright COO, right? And an implementer, an integrator, right? Somebody that can really execute. And I'm the one with the crazy ideas. I'm the one that pushes everybody to level up, right? To elevate the brand, and to try new things, and to push things forward. Right? That's my
So that's
role.
your role. Role is pushing things, pushing. I guess the envelope, and really.
And to make sure that the company's not headed towards a cliff, right? That's
So
my that's my
make
role.
sure.
So I'm always looking. I'm like I'm in a periscope. So CEO is like the guy in the periscope in a submarine, making sure that it's clear, right? If that makes sense, right? But you're the one that has your eyes in the horizon
Sure.
to make sure that the coast is clear, or to spot opportunities, or avoid headwinds, right, or storms. That's my role,
That's where you're.
right? And then I report back to the CEO and the team. Hey guys, the new trend right now is this. It's healthy food, or it's plant-based food, or service level has to be such, right? The trend, it's Dubai chocolate right now. So let's get into Dubai chocolate. So these are the things that I have to look out for, right? So that's my role, because if I'm in the business, right, I'm gonna miss out on all these things.
Yeah.
So it's we talked about this, working in the business versus working on the business. So we have programs that I've management programs that we have implemented in Biggs, such as EOS, right? It stands for Entrepreneurs Operating System. That gives us a structure, right? A management system with goals, or we call them rocks, right? Scorecards. So that's my role, is to make sure that all of this is in place. And I guess the most important is to try to come up with core values, right? Well, you have to be the architect of the core values, right? And you have to embody them. You have to walk the talk. Core values are guideposts, or things that you live by, and everybody has to live up to. It can be generic, di ba? Madami yan. Integridad. Sa amin, it's in Filipino,
Yeah,
right? So the company's called, our trade name is Biggs.
Yeah.
So we've come up with it's an acronym for our core value. So Biggs is BIGGS. So buong puso is the first one. So you approach everything wholeheartedly, buong puso. I is integridad, right? You have to do everything where everybody's win-win. Everybody's win-win, right? You don't you get ahead of anybody else, right? And you have to be transparent, right? G is gigil at galing, right? You do it's
Do things with
yeah, it's not enough to do things well, right? But you have to do things with passion,
passion.
right? You have to go all in, right? So gigil and galing, and the other G is galak.
Mm.
You have to be happy. You have to, because we're in the service industry,
Correct.
right? So it shows,
Yeah.
right? If you put joy into your work, right, your customers will feel that, and you'll delight them in the process, right? And S, you can't. You know what they say is, if you want to go fast, you go alone, right? If you want to go far, you go together, right? So S stands for sama-sama. So we all reach your goal together, right? Not just individually,
Beautiful.
right?
Beautiful. What surprised you most about the COO role that no one warned you about?
That's a good question. As we talked about just a while ago, you mentioned working in the business and on the business. I think it's the hardest. That's the hardest thing to do for an entrepreneur, right? Is to zoom out, right, and get out of the operational details.
Why?
Actually, the hardest
That's a
thing.
good-
Okay,
it's
the
a
hardest
question
thing.
that-
Okay,
yeah.
I think the answer there is the hardest is to trust. To trust. You have to delegate, right? May I share my ethos or in life, right? What I've realized in maybe in the past 5 years, right? The things that are most important to me, right? I cannot say that this should be what everybody should embrace as their own ethos, right? But there are things in life that you can delegate,
Mhm.
and there are things in life that you can't delegate,
And how do you choose?
right? And how do you choose? So for me, there are three things that you can't delegate to anybody,
No.
right? Number one is family, right? Being a father or a husband,
That
right?
can't be outsourced yet?
Not yet. So maybe we can create a business where they can outsource fatherhood.
The Philippines, of course.
You can outsource fatherhood or being a spouse, right? O ikaw muna, can I hire you to be the husband or the wife of my wife or husband, right? Or the father or mother of my children.
Sure.
So you can't, right?
The one that's family.
The second is health.
Sure.
Nobody can exercise for you,
Mhm.
right? You cannot say, hey, you know what? I have high blood, right? My LDL is high,
Sure.
my triglycerides is high. Hey, can you exercise for me? I'll pay you,
Oh wow, that would be
right?
nice.
So you can't. So you can't delegate health, right? And the third is spirituality.
Go ahead.
Although there are people that you can pay to pray for you, right? If you go to the churches in the
Absolutely,
province,
absolutely.
if you go to the churches in the province, there are people that wait outside,
To pray.
right, to pray for you. You pay them,
Okay.
and they'll pray for you. So maybe maybe pwede yun. So you can pay people to pray, right? So those are the three things that you can't delegate.
Sure.
Everything else you can. Everything
But,
else.
funny, I was just thinking about that this morning, that how what I've been around people, they have trust issues.
That's it.
And how can you be a leader? I've been still trying to contemplate being a leader and having trust issues. Isn't that such a challenge?
That's I think the hardest. That's the hardest parts. If you're asking what was the hardest part of being a CEO, or when I turned the CEO, when I became a CEO, I think that's the hardest part is trusting people, right?
What is trusting people in this case, in your case?
I think giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? And making them, instead of, I mean, you trust them first, right, until they make a mistake,
Correct.
right?
Isn't that the way it should?
That's the way it should be. Actually, I don't have a problem with that anymore, right? If you talk to the people who I work with, Emil, our COO, and other people in the business, if you ask them, and I think you have to validate this,
Okay,
right?
I
You have
will.
to validate
I
it.
will.
You have to ask them if really truly
Truly.
their
Yeah.
CEO trusts them, right? And if the answer you get is yes, it's because it takes too much energy to distrust people, to to um to uh, to distrust people first until they prove you wrong.